you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we grow again. It is a magical Monday in the studio as I record a very rainy Monday here in Los Angeles. Yeah, I haven't seen this much rain so far. So early in the winter, that's usually the only time we get rain, and it can be real sporadic. Last year was like the driest year on record I saw for LA, and so far this has been the rainiest December, January that I've seen. And but you didn't come here for the weather, although I think it's relevant because you think about last year being really dry. You think about last year being really dry for a lot of people, or hard or difficult, a lot of plenty of 2022 kicked my butt memes floating around the internet in the last few weeks. And then you start thinking of, okay, what's sort of the difference here with how 2023 is kicking off for me? Okay, lots of abundance in the form of the most precious resource on our planet, water, right? So what story am I going to tell around this, because certainly California needs the rain. You know what kind of story I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell a good one, that it is a sign of more flow, more things flowing into our life, more abundance. It's what creates growth and all the greenery that we love. So, and how do we do that? Well, how do we co-create that along with nature? And I'm gonna get into that a little bit. But before I do, I want to take a quick moment to read a review on Apple Podcast. I've been asking for you guys to give me that feedback, me and Erica, that feedback here for the first time. Years ago, I used to always read reviews and started asking again because I realized how much they fuel my fire when I hear these reviews from you guys. I get to get that feedback for this labor of love. And of course, it helps us to reach new people as well. So this one came in from Magic Shanu. I like that. Magic Shanu. Okay, much love Shannon at the bottom. So that's must have ran out of space, but I like Shanu. What is right in the world? Shannon said, this podcast is an amazing resource for anyone seeking to find a higher version of themselves in the world in general. There is so much content, and it is all created out of a beautiful desire to bring us all along in this journey of ascension. Brandon and Erica graciously share so much beauty and wisdom. When I feel like I'm stagnating, invariably Positive Head helps me to find the next inspiration. I cannot count the resources I've gained from listening. Brandon, I love when you share books, music, and movies that have inspired you. I know this labor of love requires a lot of you. Every time I listen, I feel gratitude for your great effort, knowing that your boundless giving is the way we all should all seek to interact. It models our bright future where everyone benefits when anyone benefits. In addition to the inspiration you give through ideas and energy, your selflessness in sharing inspires in all my interactions. I seek to tirelessly love and understand others because I hear and feel that coming from you. Thank you for all you contribute to the collective. Your work has played a large part in my personal transformation and thus in the people around me, whether they listen to you or not. It spreads and spreads and spreads. Much love, Shannon. Wow. What a review, Shannon. Thank you for taking the time to reflect that back. And that is exactly it, right? Whether someone's listening or not, the vibration of what we're putting out here, we're all collectively tapping into and drumming up together. And Shannon just like helped to drum it up across the airwaves here. It's just like, it becomes like a feedback loop of, I heard someone actually today's podcast was inspired by hearing someone give a inspiring talk the other day. And he was talking about how some people have more light than others. Others, though, can, and of course it's in us all. It's a matter of like, we're all the same, made of the same stuff, but we're at different points in our journey in expressing that, right? Some people are at one point in their development and some are at another, and there's no better. It's all divine. It's all perfect, right? Even those who are really in shadow, really emanating a lot of that. That's all part of the divine design, of course, right? So for someone who's emanating a lot of light, let's say at this point in their journey, there could be someone else who's really good at reflecting that light. And if we all act as reflectors and emanators and sharing and it ends up reaching everyone if we do that. And so, and everyone gets their chance. That's the thing that I think is beautiful about it, is realizing that from the grand scheme of thing, even those who are deeply immersed in the shadow, I think it can really change our perspective. If you think about that person, the darkest person like this guy it comes to mind, they just arrested in, was it Idaho, I think, who murdered, four college students, and, what a dark path, right? And we don't know the full story of what's going on between these souls and, why that is all transpiring. But even that dark soul, from most people's perspective, would agree, wow, talk about darkness, or I saw, someone say evil, incarnate kind of thing. There is ultimately, at some level, I believe there will be redemption in some future, maybe not in this lifetime, but there's, it really resonated with me hearing someone talk about tapping into my son's, supposedly tapping into a past life of my son. And this person who's a channel, claimed that he has experienced being really dark, but he did it so that he could understand the darkness and the attraction there. And then now in this light, he is like the kindest, sweetest. I couldn't be prouder as a father. It's such a light, right? But his mother is very, very dark. And so it's like, we're like yin and yang, as you guys have probably heard me talk about if you've listened, for a while. So when she said that, whether it's true or not, the idea really, really just jumped out at me like, wow, I can, imagine your soul being so vast and profound and omnipresent and infinite that it decides it's going to go on a little adventure into physicality over millennia, right? Which is nothing in the grand scheme of eternity and infinity. Our brains can barely even contemplate it. And you say, oh, wow. Oh, I want to do this thing. Oh, wow. There's something, some souls already doing this. Oh, wow. Look at the darkness. What is that? What does that even mean? Why? I think the only way to understand is to take it on and experience it. And so that when I come out the other side in this grand epic saga of adventure that we chart for our souls, that it actually means something. I actually understand the why and the how and what it feels like, and can lead those who are maybe lost in it out. That'll be the plan. I could see my son's soul doing that, or any of us, right? For that matter. And when you start thinking from this bigger, grander view, it's so different than our myopic, narrow focus of good, bad, right, wrong, evil, good, this lifetime within this container, and defining things. And the more, and I don't think we'll, ever get to the point where we're like, wow, I'm so glad someone murdered someone. That's great. I'm not saying that, but just taking a moment and saying, hold on, there's a bigger narrative here. And I believe in the end, it is all the same consciousness and energy. And there's soul contracts and histories there. When you see something awful happened, that you don't know the full story. And it certainly doesn't make it any easier for people who are subjected to it or the families left behind, or I don't want to minimize that an ounce. And I think there's some comfort that can be taken in there. It's all happening for some ultimately beautiful narrative, like The Little Soul in the Sun. Neil Donald Walsh talks about, my favorite book, children's book, The Little Soul in the Sun, and giving this idea of creating something that can actually be forgiven in a eternal, heavenly environment where the idea doesn't even make sense of forgiveness because all is divine and perfect and beautiful, right? Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a minute to tell you about the exclusive Dream Builder live virtual event from January 27th to 29th. If all it took was 3 short days to turn your life around, would you feel and have the courage to do so? If so, then you won't want to miss best-selling author Mary Morrissey and her team of all-stars who will show you how to break all the rules, feel more confident, and set yourself up for enormous abundance. You'll discover how to build a new, supremely confident you in 3 short days. Super powerful beyond what you dreamed possible. Learn how to rewire your subconscious mind with tools of spiritual manifestation, raising your vibration so powerfully that life rearranges itself to help your dreams come true. Plus, you'll discover the #1 secret to achieving the fabulous new life you and everyone deserves, so you can enjoy more happiness, more wealth, more joy in every area of your life. Go to bti.com/positive and register for your free tickets with a reimbursable deposit today. Yeah, speaking of, real excited, get to speak with Neil Donald Walsh in a couple days and have him on the show. That's been a long-held wish and vision that is manifesting. And Conversations with God. If you haven't checked that book out, that's his other, adult books, I guess you would say, that were bestsellers and greatly impacted me when I first read them in the mid-90s. So, all of us listening to the show, we get a direct line to the divine through Neil. His journey is really cool. I look forward to you guys who aren't familiar even hearing his story of how he got to write those books. It's really something, but I digress. What else do I want to talk about today? Oh, I know. So this person that was inspired this episode, really awesome. Actually, maybe I should reach out to them and have them on. They'd be a great guest. They were reciting a poem that they'd written and just kind of sharing some inspirational talks at another friend's house. And he said something that really stuck out. And he said, trajectory beats position 10 out of 10 times. Trajectory beats position 10 out of 10 times. And what does that mean? Trajectory beats position. So eventually I bring it back to the beginning where I was saying 2022. What was the position there? For a lot of people, it was challenging. There's a lot of challenge and hardship in the world, And so where are you starting in 2023? You're starting at a particular position, right? Well, trajectory beats position 10 out of 10 times. Where are you headed? Where are you going? Are you looking forward? Are you looking back? Are you constantly looking back on what's happened and replaying that old story that doesn't even exist anymore? It's nowhere to be found. You can't show it to me. You can't prove it to me. You maybe can show me a picture that I could argue you photoshopped. And, it's in the past. It's behind you. You don't, source looks forward. Source is looking forward. What is ahead? What's coming down the road? It doesn't, when you're traveling anywhere, it never makes sense to just be looking at what's behind you. If you were driving and you were facing the opposite direction, what would happen? It wouldn't be pretty, right? You're facing forward for a reason. And that's your trajectory. That's where you're headed. That's where you're going next. And well, where are you going next? Some people might be thinking, well, my position is I'm coming from this past that led me to this now, and it's not necessarily ideal. And so therefore I'm focused on it a lot. Well, let's stop focusing on it. Okay, where's our trajectory? Now, where we want to go? We may not even know. That's okay. Because here's the thing. Just understanding these perspectives that we're constantly beating the drum of on the show is that determines the place that you're going to arrive. And that's what's beautiful about trajectory. Isn't so much as you may have a very defined idea of your trajectory, exactly what you want, where you want to go, what day, how it looks, what the business does, marriage, kids, whatever it is, and you're envisioning. That's fine. But more important than that part of your trajectory is what is the underlying belief around in story of what that your future self will be immersed in and experiencing. Well, it'll be immersed in experiencing what, if you want to know what you'll see tomorrow, look at what you're feeling and resonating and vibrating and aligning with today energetically. That is your number one job, I always say, is to manage your vibration. I find it so encouraging and reassuring to constantly come back to understanding my trajectory. I am as worthy as any soul ever has been, could be, or will be. I will continue to look for the silver lining in whatever comes my way. I believe I am worthy of all the best that this life has to offer. I am one with the abundance of all the abundance that I see in the world. Anything I admire or wish I had more of is coming into my field because it's a reflection of me, reflecting me back to me. So if instead of ever resenting it or wishing I had it and feeling like why them and not me, I'm thinking, wow, it's so close to me. I'm actually calling it in, and out of a billion trillion things that could be bombarding my, eyeballs or ears or, I'm seeing and experiencing that reflection. That's the trajectory I'm on. That's the story I'm telling. And that beats position every day of the week, right? You're not going backwards. Where you were led you to where you're supposed to be perfectly. It's the exact perfect setup to lead you to the next greatest and grandest version of yourself. And you should be really excited to even be contemplating these perspectives around trajectory and position. You have, a Harvard education times 10. It is so empowering to realize that you control your destiny and fate in this way because you get to choose your perspective. You get to choose the story, and it ain't over if you haven't won. And you are winning just by getting these concepts and learning to apply them. And you may stumble, but you know what? You get up a little quicker each time, don't you? As long as you're continuing to retrain, rewire your neural network, your brain, your heart is open to remembering that you're worth, all the love that Source ever had to give. I guess isn't that a wild concept to think Source has never loved a soul more than you? Like God, higher self, whatever, whatever you're going to call it, consciousness, the universe. You are as loved and worthy as anyone in Source's eyes. Isn't that incredible to think of something, it's beyond our understanding to even think of the power and intelligence and love that is, higher self, Source, the universe, consciousness. And in the eyes of Source, you are as divine as they get. And what a cool remembrance. What a cool, beautiful, empowering affirmation to tap into. And that's how I want to leave it today. I want to leave it with a song called Affirmations. It's by a group called Elephant Heart, husband and wife. Beautiful song. And yeah, as you hear the little bit of speaking part, imagine that coming from source, your higher self to you. It will it'll give you some feels for sure. Thank you as always for tuning in, your beautiful hearts. Hope you enjoy this song by Elephant Heart. Till next time, journey well. Love you so, so much.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Good job.
You must be a silly girl. Why you asking me if I still love you? What do you think? I just stopped loving you? No way. You must be crazy, my love. You must be crazy, my love. I never loved anybody, love nobody the way I love you. Love nobody the way I
Never gonna let you go. If you're going to go, I will go with you. Even Pooh. I'll wipe your butt when you get old. I'll love you all the days. Even when you're old and gray and nothing comes your way. It's the wife jam. Nothing better than jamming with your wife. Yep, yep.